can you handle my baggage? Can you handle my baggage? The truth of the matter, whether you want to believe it or not, is that we all have baggage. And the baggage that we do have really has a lot to do with what we bring to a relationship. We've got to realize, first of all, that we all are bringing something. Experiences. We're bringing experiences from past relationships. We're bringing experiences from our overall makeup, and some things that you all are with me? Okay. I changed over. Hopefully we shouldn't have any problem. My goddaughter, Kelly St. Hill, is on tonight, and I bless God for her. Sherry Salmon, childhood pain. Oh, yeah. There's some stuff from our childhood that really has jacked us up, and we're bringing that to the relationship. And that's one of the things we have to think about. Hello to you all tonight. Again, we're talking about, can you handle my baggage? Anybody that we allow to come into our lives, we have to wonder, can they handle our baggage? At the same time, we've got to wonder, can we handle their baggage? And the combination of baggage together have to make sure, when you think about baggage, you often think about flying and the airlines. And a lot of things are calculated by weight. And when you add baggage, you got your own baggage, they've got their own baggage. You got to make sure that you're not over the qualifications in terms of the weight, in terms of what the aircraft can handle, or you all can crash. You remember when Aaliyah's plane, she had died in that plane accident, in that plane crash. I think I remember, it's been a while since I read the article, but it just came to me that luggage was possibly a factor, that they were thinking about, they were looking at this thing in terms of the plane being over its weight restrictions, in terms of, that's it, Rhonda Woodruff, too much baggage. I think I remember that. If anybody remembers that, let me know if I'm correct. Again, I might be mixing it up with another story, but I think I remember with Aaliyah's plane crash that there was too much, that luggage was a factor. And they were determined that, even though the plane was overweight with the amount of luggage, I was right, Rhonda? Okay. All right. That's what I thought. Because I that just came to me as we opened the session. It's been a long time. But I remember they had given the pilot a hard time, saying, you got too much luggage here. Combined, you all have too much luggage, and it's not safe for us to fly. And of course, because when you're a big star, you just holler and scream. You get your people to holler and scream. Thank you, Dawn. You get your people to holler and scream at the pilot, and you've hired the pilot. Thank you, Stevie. Love you, my brother. When you get the people to to scream and holler, and you hired the pilot, a lot of times the pilot just said, "All right, I'm just all right, here we go," And unfortunately, they all lost their lives. So we got to think about this. When there's baggage by itself, it might be enough baggage for you to handle. But when you get ready to get with someone else, now you've got to look at the total weight before you fly. And many of us, some of us have dealt with this in marriage, which means that you actually took off. And you took off, and you end up crashing in mid-flight because of the combined baggage. Many times, again, we don't look at the total cost of this, the total weight of combined baggage. Marriage is about finding your compatible opposite. Oh, Lord have mercy. I've said that before, but that's a deep thing. You might not believe it. To be with somebody who's the same as you, that's a boring relationship. And usually that's going to send either one of you looking for something else. You can't have everything in common. Can we be honest tonight? I don't know if you want to be honest tonight, but I'm going to be honest with myself, which might help you. I can't live with another me. I can't live with another me. Now, if you be honest with yourself, you can't live with another you. I need some type of diversity. I need something that is not me to sort of be with me, to help me. The contrasting things about me makes things work. One thing about my wife and I, what makes it work is that there's some things that I'm all balanced with. There's some things that she's all balanced with. And we equal out each other because of our differences. I'm so glad that God gave me somebody that's not like me in order to check me. And also when the vice versa, also vice versa. God gave me to my wife so that way I can check her where she's all balanced. And so it's about finding your compatible opposite. Many of us have not held on to a relationship. Thank you, Rhonda. Many of us have not held on to a relationship because we're looking for somebody to be exactly like us, to like every show that we like, to like everything we like, to like everything, the same kind of foods, and when somebody's is not like us, we end up dumping them, or we get and we're missing it. Marriage is about finding your compatible. That word compatible is everything. Okay, don't get caught up in the word opposite. The word is compatible. Opposite. Rhonda's right. Having somebody like you is boring, and it's destructive, and it's dangerous. What made me come up with this subject is we all heard on the news about a week or so ago. This kid, young guy, who worked at the airport in Seattle. He worked at SeaTac, whatever that airport is there in Seattle, and he was a maintenance grounds worker, and he stole a plane, and he took the plane, and he crashed it. And I started thinking about all of this. I thought about the conversation that he had with the air flight controllers. I started thinking about all this. I said, man, you know what? This guy here, let me turn my fan on because it's getting kind of hot in here. This guy here, his job all day, in addition to all the other stuff he had to deal with, he was dealing with luggage. Y'all ain't with me tonight. I'm using somebody that took a life and the example of somebody who took their life to hopefully save a life tonight. Here's a guy that his job was dealing with luggage. Do you know how many preachers we have that commit suicide? Do we know how many preachers who have quit? God bless you, Rob. Who've turned in their minister's license, and ordinations, all this stuff, and say, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Because we as pastors, our job is dealing with luggage. And if we're not rooted and grounded, y'all not with me. If we're not rooted and grounded, the handling of other people's luggage, in addition to our own, I could preach this guy's story better than he could preach it. In addition to dealing with our own luggage, the weight is too much. This guy's married. He said, he said on the radio, as the air traffic controller was trying to talk him down, he said, there's a lot of people who care about me out there. And a lot of people are going to be disappointed with me. That's what he said as he was flying this aircraft that he wasn't licensed for, and that he had illegally taken. And he said, a lot of people are going to be disappointed with me. And he said something like, I wanted to write it down but I didn't get a chance to write it down for the session. He said, I'm kind of screwed up in the head. Y'all not with me. This is as he's doing the controls. And he takes the plane into a loop. Something, a loop. Something that only a skilled pilot can do. Watch this. With a plane that is governed and used for acrobatics. It was an amazing thing that this guy was able to take a passenger plane, which is not built for that. I'm going to go somewhere with this. And he was able to do a maneuver that was absolutely incredible. They don't know if it was just by, I don't use the word luck, but it was just by, just something that just happened. But here's a guy who was credentialed to handle luggage. I might have to preach this at some pastor's anniversary or something. I'm gonna refer it back to y'all, but it's kind of shifting that way. But here's a guy that was licensed. Watch this, to handle luggage, and he snapped. What I'm here to talk to you about tonight is, can you handle my baggage? And again, I thought about that young man, and that's what made me. Thank you, Raquel Brown. I do need to get a book. I need to do this. Here's a man that this was all he did, and he snapped. The thing is about luggage is that we have some personal items that we don't want anybody to see that's in our luggage. Think about it. Think about some things that you've packed before that you would not want if they went through the scanner and they had to open up your bag and just sorted that stuff out so everybody can see it. There's some stuff in there that you don't want anybody to see. I've got some stuff in my life that I don't want anybody to see. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, LaShawn. You have some things in your life that you do not want unpacked for the people. And this is why in the beginning of a relationship, you got to be very careful, because you don't want someone in your luggage pulling out the information of the secret things that you have in your luggage and then leave them with that information. Because as we know with this accident with this young man, even though he didn't transfer luggage to this aircraft, he still took, this thing that he wasn't supposed to be taking, and he ended up crashing it. And many times that plane that he crashed can represent our lives. How many people have we exposed to our luggage? We've told them too much about us. We exposed ourselves too much. We shared too much of our past. Thank you, Michelle. Stevie Wonder, Skeletons. We shared too much of what has been a part of us, and they couldn't really handle the information. And they did what this young man did. They took something very valuable and actually crashed it. One of the things they don't talk about in the news, because it would make the company of the aircraft unhuman-like. It would make them bad and insensitive to this young man. Nobody's talked about it. This plane costs money. This plane that this guy crashed, for whatever reason, cost the airlines money. These aircrafts are not cheap. And I know that had to, even though they couldn't report it, I know they were burnt up over the fact that this grounds worker, whatever they paid him an hour, wasn't nowhere worth, this merchandise that he took and crashed. Your life that people have taken unauthorized, have taken your life and crashed it. Y'all, how many of you had a bad relationship before? You know what I'm talking about. When you think about the cost, because what are you worth to God? What are you worth to God? What is your life worth to God? What is your life intact in terms of you being able to be the person that you are, in terms of being the whole person that you can be for your kids, to be the person that you need to be on your job, to be the person that you need to be in your ministry that God has given you? Many of us, those areas I just mentioned, have suffered because we've allowed people who are unauthorized, weren't licensed. Let me give you the license right here in this respect in terms of getting in and flying the plane represents marriage. Oh, y'all not with me. How many people who did not have a pilot's license have we allowed them to take the controls? And again, we slept with them. Let me give it to you one more time. Y'all already know how I'm gonna go. Y'all know I'm gonna find a way to help you to understand. Anybody that we did not have a marriage license with, that's the equivalent of giving someone who doesn't have a license to take us off the ground. Oh, Lord have mercy. And then we're surprised when there's a crash because they weren't credentialed. You're not with me. They weren't credentialed to take us off the ground. Oh, y'all not. See, the only thing that we did let them do, we let them mess around in our luggage too long. And as they messed around, see the airport, watch this. The airport and security and all of them who's supposed to be looking out to make sure nobody steals planes, to make sure the workers don't take advantage of the equipment. No one expected this. How many people have we let into our lives? And we let them dig in our luggage, thinking that it's harmless. It's harmless for me to tell them all my business. And next thing you know, we're caught up. Thank you, Rob. And next thing you know, when our back is turned. Have you ever been into a relationship? You don't even know how it happened. Thank you, Janie. You don't even know how it happened. Before you know it, this person has grabbed a hold of the controls. Oh, Lord, and they're taking us off the ground. Y'all not with me tonight. We let them in. Oh yeah, go in. You know, we allow them to become too familiar. You can be licensed. Watch this. You can be licensed for one thing, but not licensed for another. Many of us have given people a license to dig in our stuff. When you tell people too much without fully knowing them, when you don't take your time, when you're not watching, oh, you're not with me. When you're not watching, watch as well as pray. This man was digging in baggage. He was working in baggage. They said he complained about his job. He complained about his job. And then when the airline's back was turned, because he was credentialed to be in luggage and dig in luggage, he goes a step further, and he unauthorized, illegally, takes an aircraft, and he leaves the ground with it, and he does maneuvers. Y'all not with me? That he wasn't supposed to do with that type of plane. You ever had somebody in your life who you let leave the ground, take you off the ground, and they did things that you were not equipped for, that you were not emotionally, y'all not with me, you weren't emotionally equipped for, you wasn't physically equipped for, you wasn't ready, you wasn't spiritually equipped for, and they did all kinds of loop-de-loops with you, and they violated the airspeed. Oh, y'all not with me. A lot of times, God bless you, Howard, Once that person has left the ground with you, Janie Wright, thank you. She said, I am guilty. I'm guilty as well. I'll be honest with you. Some of us, I wish you acknowledge tonight, you know what? I've been guilty of doing this. Once that person has left the ground and got you off the ground, now, have you ever been this way in a relationship? Now you're compromised, but you're also beholding to them to bring the plane back to the ground. Once you slept with somebody and they don't have a license, emotionally, you are now off the ground. And now you're stuck. You got this person. You ever felt like this person had so much control of you and they didn't have a license or the training or the skills to deal with you, but they've had such a hold. And the only thing that what happened when this young man had this plane up in the air, the control tower had to try to talk this guy and beg him. Yeah, like you feel like you're basically, Rob said that you basically feel like you're under this spell. To please, all right, you did your loop-de-loop. You've used me. You've done certain tricks with me. I need this. You need to get. I need it. They said we need you to get the plane, Richard. Thank you. We need you to get this plane back to the ground. The last thing he said before he crashed was, "I'm gonna try one more trick, and then I'm gonna call it a day." Now I don't know when he said I'm gonna call it a day, meaning I'm going to try to. He said, am I going to try to land, or am I going to crash this thing? Many people, we've allowed them to do one thing, and they could not handle our baggage. They couldn't handle our baggage, and they couldn't handle their baggage. They couldn't handle the weight of the baggage combined. Ladies and gentlemen, can you handle my baggage? That's one of the things you need to ask yourself when you are interested in somebody and somebody is interested in you. You've got to take this thing a step at a time. As much as the world says, that's why a lot of people don't watch me. As much as the world says, anybody that you're locked in with, you're in a relationship with them, it's expected that you're going to have sex. You've got needs, I've got needs, sexual healing. That's what it's all about. I love you, you love me, we're let's get together. But when you sleep with somebody, you are giving them unauthorized. Oh my goodness. Why is it unauthorized? Why was it unauthorized for the young man to take that plane? It was unauthorized because he didn't have a pilot's license. It's unauthorized because he wasn't cleared for takeoff by the air traffic controllers. He wasn't authorized because he didn't have a pilot's license. When you sleep with someone, again, you can't give somebody, it's unauthorized, you can't give somebody that kind of control because they don't have a license. The license is according to God's holy ordinance. If you're in any wedding, they say, according to God's holy ordinance, I pledge thee my faith. Oh, y'all ain't with me tonight. God gives the pilot's license upon making vows and upon getting the right training. Oh, y'all not with me. Because if you don't get counseling and the right training, all right. Let's see. Alice Mute said, I lost my son Friday night. He was a family man. My condolences, Alice. I'm so sorry to hear that. We're going to be in prayer for you. I can't even imagine what you're going through, and in terms of losing a son. But our prayers are with you, and we're just praying that God will hold you up and support you. I'm glad you posted that, because there's some people on here, and we all can keep you in our prayers. So, ladies and gentlemen, the thing is, before you let anybody in, when you're going out on your dates, when you're getting ready to know this person, you need to continuously ask yourself, can you handle my luggage? And right now, make it a rhetorical question, meaning you're not looking for them to answer, because they can't answer. The thing is that you have to watch them. You have to watch them in terms of what you share. So, again, that's my thing for tonight. I ask that you would take that with you, pray about it, be on the lookout. If they're dealing with luggage, you've got to watch them, because if you don't watch them, eventually they're going to sneak into the aircraft and they're going to take the plane.